As you're listening, don't forget to check out the Professional Amateurs podcast on YouTube. And while you're there, hit like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 33 of Professional Amateurs. This is a Jackson Fisherless episode. He had something come up with his supervisor for his thesis project. So it's just Ryan and I for today, hoping to cover the week that was in the NHL. We got a whole bunch of stuff that we're hopefully going to get to. But first, Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel like a 12-year-old, but we're here. We're thriving. Gonna find
right. Why do you feel like a 12-year-old?
Yeah, I was gonna let you get to that. Yeah, no, I shaved my face for Movember. I do this. Well, I've done this for a couple years now, and although it is for a good cause, I absolutely hate the look of it for the first time.
This is probably the first year, like bear in mind, like we're 22. This is probably the first year that I would have legitimately been able to do it, like full stop. Like last year I grew it out, but it was like greasy and like didn't touch anywhere. But I forgot to shave yesterday. And so I don't really know what to do now. Like, do I start late or do I just let it go? And then eventually, I don't know.
Yeah, you just let it go now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let it go now because now it makes me look like I'm more mature and have like actual facial hair growing abilities.
You get a little
people that I shaved yesterday, and this is what I look like now.
Get a little bit of a head start. Just make people think you can do better than you can.
Yeah, and then when it still isn't even grown to be like an inch long at the end of the month, I'll just play it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a whole lot of stuff going on in the NHL. Tons of streaky teams. A lot of teams underperforming and overperforming. But some significant games going on last night. Where do you want to start?
I want to start with Erik Karlsson.
Holy. You got yourself a deal there.
The two-time Norris winner is back in a big fashion with his first. Like I was kind of shocked by that. Hat trick. Like that was crazy.
I was so shocked when I saw that he scored a hat trick. I was like, what? That's awesome.
Like I knew he was off to just an incredible start this year, but I woke up to I think it was our group chat on Twitter this morning, and you just plopped a little Elliot Friedman tweet like Karlsson hat trick. So what?
Yeah, that was all I saw too, and I didn't see anyone else tweeting about it because it's San Jose. No one's really talking about the Sharks, and I was just like, wait, what? Let me go check this.
He's now second in the league in goals behind McDavid.
I know the score hasn't updated his stats, which is super annoying. Like it's 1:00 the next day. Let's go here, but he's got 14 points in 12 games. Oh no, he's got 15 points in 12 games, 9 goals. Like, go away. That's insane. And like, this is a guy that was written off 2 years ago. He was making 11.5 for, I don't know, $3 million production. Like, let's be real. That's where he was at because of injury and whatnot. But he's just.
Sorry, do you have how many wins the Sharks have there in front of you?
They're 3-8-1.
So you're telling me they only have 3 wins?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Erik Karlsson has 3 game-winning goals.
No way. That's sick.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
That's
it. He's like, that's crazy that he's doing this at this point in his career. I forget who sent the tweet, but like, didn't someone reference that this is probably all because he's the guy again? Was that you?
I had this thought. I didn't think I sent anything about it, but I
so maybe it was just you that said it. But like Brent Burns not being there, because like, let's be real, Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns are very sort of redundant in the same lineup. They're very much a similar player. And now that Brent Burns isn't there, Erik Karlsson's running power play. He's playing 24 minutes a night, just like he used to. And now he's over a point a game and almost at a goal a game. And he's got 9 goals in 12 games, which is just insane.
To put this in perspective, if he scores 1 more goal all season, he ties his total from last year. And if he gets 2 more, that's his highest total since 2016-17.
What's his career high? Like 19?
21.
Oh, he's gotten 20 before? That's cool. But like, okay, so do you think San Jose is going to trade him? Like, they could now, I think, if they
Yeah,
retain some salary.
absolutely they
If
could.
if I'm the Sharks, you gotta. Like, that was a contract that looked
Yeah.
unmovable like 3 months ago.
The Sharks are probably doing cartwheels because this is actually a tradable asset now.
Yeah.
Like assuming he keeps this up, getting a little bit closer to the deadline, which is a big assumption, but he looks friggin' incredible right now.
And it'd be tough for San Jose to have to eat salary, but I mean, if it's what you got to do to move the player, you gotta. Like who's not going to take Erik Karlsson at, I don't know, a $7 million cap hit if San
Yeah,
Jose retains 4.5, something like
and
that.
like if you are committing to a full rebuild, like would you rather get something for the asset and still be paying less, or
Yeah,
just have the asset sitting there and maybe producing, but you don't want them to produce if you're
yeah,
rebuilding, right?
yeah.
So you got to trade them, get anything you can for them. And even if you have to retain for the last 4 years, it's going to be way less than what you were going to have to pay if you kept them. So
Exactly. And on top of that, you remove that salary and you bring in some young assets, probably just draft picks. And
yeah,
so those guys aren't going to be in the NHL for a couple of years anyway. So by the time your team's good again, you're not going to be paying that retained cap hit maybe
and
for a year. But it's really cool to have this narrative started where Erik Karlsson has actual trade value again.
oh, it's awesome. And if it would be crazy if we saw like a creative trade like we've seen before with the third team too, where somebody gets them at like 25%.
Yeah.
Like that, it might be, it would have to be like Chicago or Arizona, somebody who's absolutely going to be terrible for the next 3-4 years and be
Yeah.
willing to do something like that. But
That'd be cool.
that would be crazy.
Yeah. To get his cap hit even further down, or
Yeah,
just to get it down to that 7. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Did you see Trevor Zegras' shootout winner
I
from that
did.
game last
Yeah.
night? Is that not one of the more disgusting and like just nonchalant shootout goals you've ever
It
seen?
was just like, I'm the man and I know it. Like everything he
Oh,
does is. And I
it's
friggin' love it. It's so electric. Ah, he's so great.
he is so great. He's so good for this league. Like
Yeah.
he's got such a sick personality. Did you see him chirping James Reimer on the
Yeah.
benches?
Yeah.
Like you're mad at me for hitting you and I'm 130. No,
Yeah.
just kidding, 170 on a good day or something, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, he's just, I don't know. Every
And
time I see him on social media, it makes me smile. And
yeah,
that's not a thing with most players.
I was just gonna go right there too. Like every single time I see a clip of him from like media day or something, he's always by far giving the funniest, most creative answer, doing something crazy, stupid. Just like he has a personality like 99% of this league doesn't. And
Yeah.
we're seeing more and more players trend toward it, which is incredible for the league.
It's coming. It's
Yeah,
coming.
it's coming.
Um, it's almost as though like I don't know. It almost seems like there's a strict cutoff from when like personalities really started to come into the NHL, and you really see social media starting to influence kids and being more outgoing and stuff like that. Like, does that make sense? Am I onto something there?
No, I think that does make sense because you just from a local perspective too, like we can see it in Shane Pinto.
Mm-hmm.
He as much as like some of the other younger guys like Brady, even though he's only a few years older, he still does have that like somewhat serious persona
Yeah.
to him when he's in the media anyways. When he's out
Right.
doing his own stuff, he's being Brady,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But like even when Pinto's doing a little media scrum, it's not the same cliche answers. He's always just saying what's on top of his mind. He's always giggling with reporters. Like it's just not something you see from the older players. And I definitely think it's something that correlates with um the players just gaining more confidence in what they can do on the ice, but also them realizing that they have more power off the ice too.
Speaking of players with personality and that are also dominating on the ice, Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils. And that wasn't the best segue because it's not necessarily Jack Hughes who's dominating, but I wanted to talk about the New Jersey Devils, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
They are 7-3 since an 0-2 start. So they are 7-1 in their last 8 games. And I believe the stat I saw this morning was that they have had one game this season with less than 36 shots and only one game this season where they've given up more than 25.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
what?
dominating every analytic model possible. Like you and me follow a couple of the same analytics people, and I feel like every single time they're doing their little weekly or daily or whatever, here are the best players for like expected goals for, expected goals against, or like the differential. It's always the New Jersey Devils players that are dominating the tops to start the season anyways.
They're at the top of everything. It's
Yeah.
absolutely absurd. Like Nico Hischier might win a Selke trophy this year.
Oh yeah.
Jack Hughes has not yet broken out this season, and he's point a game through 10 games. Jesper Bratt has a 10-game point streak. You know how many games the Devils have played this year? 10. That is sick. Like,
I've been all in on Jesper Bratt. I love him. Like, I think he's my favorite player outside of the Senators.
Has he always been with New Jersey? Yeah, he has. Sixth round pick in 2016.
I always thought he was somewhat of like a Batherson comparable in the sense that you maybe didn't hear so much about him coming up, but then he just had one. I don't know. He's just this underrated player that it feels like people don't talk about at all, but might be the best player on their team.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I wonder what his contract's going to look like. He signed a 1-year deal in the offseason. I think it was for 5.5.
That was such a miss by New Jersey, in my opinion.
I don't know if it was a miss, though. I think it was New Jersey offering him money and Bratt wanting more. Like, I'd be shocked. And Friedman, like was it Elliot Friedman? Or was it Dmitry Filipovich? Like, heavily implied that New Jersey made a long-term offer to Jesper Bratt, and he was just like, no, like, I can get more if I just have another big year. So, and like, I kind of side with New Jersey on that. The guy had one big year, and he was a 6th rounder. Like, you don't know what that year is going to look like. And obviously now it's going to be sustainable, and this is one of the better wingers in the league. And you're going to probably have to give the guy $9 million a year, but you can kind of afford to have taken that risk because your top 2 centers for the next 7 years are signed at a $15 million cap hit.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can afford to splurge on your Jesper Bratt.
Yeah, if it was him betting on himself, I take back that point. It totally checks out, and good for him because he should. He's an incredible player, and I'm so excited to see what the limit is for this Devils team. I think they're going to be electric.
John Marino traded the offseason.
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm forgetting. Okay, well, obviously there was Ottawa's trade for DeBrincat, but like in terms of early returns and stuff like that, I don't know. I think John Marino might have been like the trade of the offseason. He is so good. Defensively, he's such a shutdown defenseman. And they got him for Ty Smith, who is genuinely a bad NHL defenseman, and I don't even know if he's getting minutes with the Penguins. I'm going to go check that out right now. In a 3rd round pick. And this is now a guy who is stabilizing your penalty kill, your 5-on-5 defensive play, and I'm pretty sure him and Graves have like a 73% expected goals share in their however many minutes together. Like, it's disgusting that trade happened. And it's not even like Marino makes $4.4 million, and I'm pretty sure he's signed for the next 4 years, maybe 5. Ty Smith is not on the Penguins roster right now. Like, I don't really get that for them. Like,
it was an absolute steal. Like, it was, I don't know. When I saw that trade, I was just so mad because that was exactly what Ottawa, and like, not even just Ottawa, we just know that because we know the Ottawa market, but like the league is always looking for good defensemen like that.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, they just go for these crazy low prices. I get teams are getting cap crunched, but still.
I just don't understand why they needed to do that. I mean, they're right up against the cap right now, but I'm trying to see, like, who did they break? Oh, it's because they kept Raquel. That's got to be why. Because Malkin's Evgeny Malkin's salary dropped by $3.5 million. Chris Letang's salary dropped by about $2 million. But then they bring in Jeff Petrie in that Mike Matheson trade, which bumped up their cap by about 1.5. And then they also brought back Rickard Rakell, who was not making a lot, but is now making $5 million a year. So basically, those two guys necessitated. I don't even know. Is that the right word? I don't know. But it made
definitely not a word.
It's got to be a word. You got it. It's okay.
Necessitated. That is not a word.
Necessitate. Necessitate is a word. Necessitate. Make something necessary as a result or consequence. Okay, but necessitated. Past tense is necessitated. It is a word. It is a word. Indefinite.
That is not a word people use. I've never seen that word used.
Would you rather me use the word necessitated or it made it necessary?
That 100%.
It made it necessary for Pittsburgh to trade Marino because they brought in Petrie and who did I just say? Rakell. And that's a big whiff. And like literally last week, I was ready to crown the Pittsburgh Penguins Metropolitan Division champions. And since then, I think they've lost 4 games this week. They've lost 5 in a row total. And New Jersey's now tied for first of the division, first by points percentage. So,
yep.
I'm going to start crowning teams just to see what happens.
Good. Give them the kiss of death.
Just give them the kiss of death. So I guess next on the kill list after Pittsburgh last week would have to be either Boston or Vegas. Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's do Boston.
Okay. This team is 9-1. Honestly, we can almost consider it the reverse kiss of death because I think did you have them outside playoffs or did you have them on a wild card?
No, I definitely had them out. 100%. I had them out.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure Jack had them out. I want to say I had them as a wild card, but I probably didn't.
I'll pull up. Yeah.
And this team turns around and goes 9-1 in their first 10 games. Brad Marchand returns a month earlier than he was supposed to or expected to. Puts up 2 goals and an assist in his first game back. And now Charlie McAvoy is ahead of schedule. Like this team is literally missing their best player.
Yeah,
depending on how you feel about McAvoy versus Pasternak, they're missing a top 2 player on their team.
Yeah, so you and me had them 6th, and Jack had them 5th.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah, we definitely underestimated this team, I would say.
Yeah, well, like, how do you do that? And how does Marchand? Well, I guess it wasn't more like he recovered 2 months early. It sounds like they fudged the lines and made it sound like he was going to be out way longer than he was actually supposed to. So it was right on time. He even said it in a presser. He was like, we had this date scheduled. We had this date circled.
But they basically trolled everyone by saying like end of November and December.
Yeah. So
it's hilarious.
It's just, I hate them and I hate that they're good, but they are, and they deserve our respect, unfortunately.
Hampus Lindholm's over a point a game, and David Krejci is at a point a game.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Like, that's insane, dude. Like, what? Who is this guy? Who is AJ Greer? And why does he have 6 points in 8 games? Like, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't think much of this roster. It wasn't Matt Grzelcyk one of the guys that they were going to be missing a lot at the start of the year, too? I thought he was going to be out long-term to start the year, and he's now played 6 out of 10 games.
Yeah, I thought he was also supposed to be out a lot longer, but he was just back within like a week.
So coming into the season, we were under the impression that Marchand was going to be back until December. McAvoy and Grzelcyk were out till the new year, and now Grzelcyk's back, Marchand's back, and McAvoy's like, I think skating or on his way back within the next couple weeks. And like McAvoy's going to come back, and all of a sudden, like everyone shifts down. So Hampus Lindholm, who has 11 points in 10 games, playing 24 minutes a night as the number 1 defenseman for the team, shifts down to the number 2 spot. And then et cetera, et cetera.
Bergeron on a $1 million contract is point per game.
Yeah.
At what?
Bergeron's
38?
at 1 mil?
Well, he's at like 1 or 1.5. Yeah.
Was it
Wasn't
that
he?
low? I thought it was a little bit
I
more.
swear I'm not making this up.
Okay, are you gonna check right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
I think Krejci's at 1 mil. I want to say Bergeron's at 2.5.
Okay. Maybe that was it, but I know it's low. Like,
Check it though, just to make sure.
yeah.
But like, it's yeah. I don't know. This team, like,
Krejci did just get hurt though and get put on IR.
right. After like Krejci and Bergeron are gonna nail all their performance bonuses though, which is gonna leak into next year as like
That's true.
overage. I think that's how that works. So they'll
Yeah,
get nailed for that next year, but they don't care this year. Like,
yeah, you're right. Bergeron's at 2.5.
okay, but still, like, I don't know. And like, where's this team gonna go too? Like, they're 9-1. Like, the everything we were saying at the start of the year about this team, like getting off to a bad start and showing signs of like aging and all this and that, and then Pasternak maybe wants out. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way he's leaving.
I was just gonna say, does Pasternak stay now?
I think so. I think he was gonna stay all along, to be honest. And I think he's gonna become the highest paid winger in the NHL.
Yeah.
Um,
He's got to
like,
be asking for at least Panarin money.
I think 12. I think 8 times 12. Someone floated 8 times 11 to match his jersey number, which would be very cool. But
do you think the Bruins get him to buy into their stupid take less?
No, because McAvoy got 9.5, and
Yeah,
basically said
you could kind of argue that that's a bargain based on other contracts given out.
you could, but they're not like his. It's a bargain because he's Charlie McAvoy, but it's not a bargain compared to other contracts in the sense that he's making market value for high-end defensemen who need contracts. If that makes sense. Like, obviously he's a better player than like a Darnell Nurse and a Seth Jones and all them. But like at the time those guys signed their deals, they were coming off of like career years or had all the leverage. McAvoy signed his 9.5 when he was like, I don't know, 24 years old. And true. So I don't really see it as, it's hard to say not, like taking 8 times 9.5 is buying into the Boston take less philosophy. That's like true. I think if McAvoy was at 7, you could justify that, but 9.5, I think he's pushing it.
It's true.
Not that he's not worth it. He's worth that plus another few million, but I think McAvoy getting his 9.5 makes Pasternak look to break the bank. I just wonder what the number will be. It'll be really interesting to see. Mm-hmm. It'll probably be a very cool contract.
You want to talk Vegas?
Yeah, let's jump over to Vegas. Excuse me, Logan Thompson.
Oh yeah.
And also Aiden Hill. Like, what is happening here? Like, Ryan, give me a quick rundown. Like, what is going on? Do you have Vegas' stats open, or do you want me to rip through it?
You rip it quick.
Okay. Logan Thompson is 5-2 with a 173 goals against and a 938 save percentage. Aiden Hill is 4-0 with a 172 and a 940. This is a team that was supposed to be like written off at the start of the year because Robin Leonard took the year off for hip surgery. And all of a sudden their goaltending is better than it would have been with Leonard. Like it is. And they got, I don't know, $5 million in LTIR space to go whoever they got after they lost Leonard, unless they can still use that. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But like Jack Eichel's back. He's gonna be an all-star this year. He's gonna blow past 30 goals, might score 40. I think it'd be cool if he scored 40. He's probably gonna finish over 80 points. I remember we had the Locked On Vegas guys on. They were talking 100 points.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I think he's a shoo-in for 90. And like, I don't know. It's just such a deep team. Like, despite what it seems, because of how much depth it seems they've lost over the years. Like, just looking at sort of their leading scorers, you got Jack Eichel, Chandler Stevenson, William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault, Mark Stone, Riley Smith, and Nick Roy, and Phil Kessel, who has not gotten going yet. And who knows what with him. He's up there in age. But like all those guys in your top 9, see you later. See you later.
Yeah. They It's super impressive. Like, just given that goaltending, given my biases towards Logan Thompson, I thought he was going to be pretty good this year, but I really didn't think that a tandem of Thompson and Hill was going to be sustainable um to lead you to like 45, 50 wins that you might
Yeah.
need to get into the playoffs, right? Um, and another underrated factor to this too is that, like obviously here in Ottawa, we're very hyper fixated on the Calder race. If this continues, I think it's over. Like if Logan Thompson puts up 30 wins and a 940 save percentage as a rookie, it's over.
Is he eligible for it?
Yeah,
He played 19 games last year,
you need like 26.
even for a goalie.
I think so, yeah.
Because I know it's 25 for skaters, but you'd
I've
think
s-
that
I've
number would be lower for a
I've
goalie.
seen him on lists, so unless people
Okay.
got me online, then
No, that makes sense. He was stellar in his 19 games last year. He went
mhm,
10-5 with a 914 save.
yeah,
And he just took another step up this year. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think the threshold should be lower for goalies, but if that's the case, he's definitely the front runner right now.
yeah,
Holy guys, like Vesna caliber right now.
yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
literally the leader for Vesna right now. If the season ended today, Logan Thompson would be your 2022 Vesna Trophy winner. Um, yeah, I mean, just I'm gonna look at their cap situation. I want to see. There's no way they do have any cap space left, but I don't remember them making any moves after they put um Leonard on LTIR, unless I'm completely forgetting something. So I'm just curious. Oh yeah, they have $0 in cap space. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Um,
Um,
just outside of the cap space conversation, just circling back to Eichel a bit, I love that he's back.
yeah,
Like, I love that it worked out for him that he went through everything that he went through with Buffalo to try to get what he wanted in terms of the medical procedure, that everyone was so scared about, and now he's back playing at an elite level. So I think that's just really cool and good for him.
and it's really set a precedent too because wasn't the name of the players on the tip of my tongue that went and got a similar surgery was it was Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
Tyler Johnson of Chicago, and I think he's back now too. Let me go check that out. Um, yeah, Tyler Johnson's got 6 points in 6 games this year. Like he's playing, and I don't really think he played last year.
Yeah.
And he got the same surgery that Eichel got. It's just it's really cool because I just remember how exhausting that story was and how long the trade process was dragged out. Um, so it's just really nice to see him sort of back being Jack Eichel in a massive market.
Mhm.
Um, maybe not the biggest like hockey market, but Vegas is a huge market in the NHL now. Like they're one of the marquee draws for TNT and national television and stuff like that. So it's just really cool to see one of the NHL's most marketable players doing it in one of its most marketable locations.
Yeah. I always I always considered him one of the league's most talented players, just kind of shadowed by the fact that he was in a terrible situation and
Yeah,
kind of just tucked away in the corner. But now it's really cool to see him thriving. So I just wanted to bring that up.
for sure. Um, all right. Why don't we talk quickly about the guy who went one spot ahead of Eichel in the 2015 draft? Mr. Connor McDavid is he currently on pace to score 90 goals? He is on pace to score 90 goals this season. He has well, no, on pace is the wrong word. But anyway, he has 11 goals in 10 games. He has 22 points in 10 games. Like, what is happening with this guy? Like, he put up how
Just
many points last year, and everyone thinks like, how could he get better? How could he get better? Like, and he just keeps doing it.
I
Um,
I think Draisaitl has joked to him a couple times, like in the media. He's like, "You got to score more, buddy," and
yeah,
he's just taking it seriously.
he does. Can you imagine how cool it'd be if he goes and just like crushes Austin Matthews' season from last year in terms of
Yeah,
goals?
like he
Like,
just goes out and puts up like, I don't know, 70 goals, 75 goals.
Yeah, like what was Matthews' exact number last year? Was it 61 or 62?
Um,
I forget. Maybe check that. But
yeah, I'll
like
do
if
it.
McDavid goes and puts up like 68 goals and like 140 points, like that would be so. I just think that'd be so cool in terms of the Matthews McDavid debate that was sparked last year, in the sense that Matthews is better defensively and is a better goal scorer, but McDavid just puts up so many points that he's sort of just inarguably the best player in the world.
I
If
wonder.
McDavid
Sorry, go ahead.
if
Finish.
McDavid comes back and scores more goals than Matthews, who has, I think by a lot of model standards, put up like the best season of the analytics era in
Mhm.
terms of like wins added. If he comes back and just scores more goals than Matthews did last year in that season, like it'd be so boss. It'd be so baller of Connor McDavid to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
So
sick.
so Matthews had exactly 60 goals last year.
Oh, okay. I thought he had a little
Um,
bit more.
so I think McDavid absolutely can hit that. But where
Yeah.
I was going was I'd love to see the numbers to start this year to see where scoring is in comparison to last year.
Oh,
Because
it's at like a
last
record pace right now.
okay, is it? Because
Yeah, I
last
think
year we
it's at
were
like
at
6.4, 6 point. It's either 6.4 or 6.2 total goals per game, which is like the most of the salary cap era, I'm pretty sure.
because it feels like it. Like
Yeah.
we keep hearing about these crazy streaks and um maybe we can segue to this quickly. 6 point games and stuff like that is
Yeah.
just I feel like we're hearing about it on a more consistent basis and it's like holy crap, people are just doing more impressive things on a nightly basis.
And it
Like
seems like
Erik
there's been a
Karlsson
lot of
got his
hat tricks
first
this year.
career hat trick.
Yeah. There's been a lot of hat tricks this year. McDavid has two. Tage Thompson just had
Well, no,
one.
Carlson's
That,
been incredible and he's at like a low point and he gets his first.
yeah. It's
Like, I don't know. It's just weird things are happening, but I love it.
and it's especially weird. We'll talk about Tage Thompson in a sec and like
Yeah.
maybe do a quick thing on Buffalo, but like it's so interesting that this trend kind of like this goal scoring trend seems like it came out of nowhere. Like
Mm.
the NHL was on a constant like nosedive in goal scoring because goalies were just so good. And now it just seems like, I don't know, Carey Price isn't playing anymore. Henrik Lundqvist retired. Jonathan Quick, his performance has fallen off a cliff since he's sort of exited his prime. Ben Bishop's gone. It just seems like so many goalies have left and
Mhm.
they're just not really being replaced.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a theory that's been floated out there that just like in general the goalies are worse, but I just don't know where this goal scoring trend came from because forever it was like, how do we improve goal scoring? How do we improve goal scoring? And then it's almost as though in the 56 game sort of COVID year, it just like exploded that season,
Mhm.
to the tune of McDavid putting up 105 points in 56 games or whatever. And then last year it just didn't stop, and this year it's gone even further, and it's awesome. It's
It
so
just
fun.
yeah, it just feels like the skill development of the players is progressing
Yeah,
way faster than the skill development of the goalies right now. And it's interesting to see how that will kind of even out as time keeps going here.
that could be it too, because like this might sound very like naive or dumb, but like I don't really see how much a goalie can like improve,
Mhm.
because how can you really be like physically dominant as a goalie? Like you can be, but some of the biggest sort of, I don't know, attributes of a goalie is size and agility.
Yeah.
And if you have those, then you're probably going to be a good goalie. And if you don't, you can't really attain those.
Mhm.
And so it's almost like there's a threshold for how good a goalie can be.
Mhm.
There's no threshold for how good players can be, because you can always work on puck handling and skating and where you can be on the ice and positioning and all this stuff, passing. But with a goalie, I feel like goalies are so much more bounded in how far they can develop and how good they can get. So maybe that's sort of
Yeah.
to your point of players are just getting so much more skilled and goalies just aren't keeping up.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just thought of that. So I don't know. It seems kind of kind of cool. I like how I articulated that, but
yeah, I don't know how it works either, but it's cool to see.
yeah, and it's noticeable this year. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, let's look at yesterday's games.
Well,
There was a 7-4 game. There were 2 6-5 games. There was a 5-2 game, a 5-4 game. Like, there's like so much high scoring all the time. And what were you gonna say there?
I was just gonna say we don't have a ton of time left. You want to hit Buffalo and then maybe a player of the week first?
Yeah, so Tage Thompson, 3 goals, 3 assists, and an 8-3 shit kicking of the Detroit Red Wings on Sunday. Or was that Monday? It was Monday. They won 8-3. Tage Thompson puts up 6 points in a game. Like, Buffalo's sick. They're such a cool team. They're so fun. Do you think they're gonna make playoffs?
I mean, if they continue like this, yeah. But
they're 6-3.
I don't know if 38-year-old or no 40. How old is Craig Anderson? I don't even know. I don't know.
I think he's 40. I think he's 41.
I think he's 42.
Oh, he's 41. He turns 42 in May.
Okay. Yeah.
And Erik Karlsson's been the starter, and he's 27.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's sustainable. Erik Karlsson's already down to a .902 save percentage. So we'll see how that goes. Craig Anderson's at a .946. Good for him. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Just a sick core. Purely like vibes team of the season so far. I don't know. Just a fun team to watch. Cool jerseys. Tage Thompson, 6 points. There you go. Yeah.
That he's just completely shitting on everyone who called that contract crap.
Oh, I know. I
liked it, but I seemed to be in the major minority. So it's just really cool to see him kind of proving people wrong.
I was hesitant, and I've mentioned this before, so I'm not going to go into it, and we want to do our player of the week with 3 minutes left. But I was less hesitant about the deal because his breakout coincided with his position change. If he'd have had his breakout still as a winger, I would have been more hesitant. So there's definitely some like correlation between the two. So last week we introduced the ProAm Player of the Week. We still didn't allot much time this time, although 3 minutes might be enough. Ryan, who you got for your second edition of the ProAm Player of the Week?
I've got goaltender Matt Murray of the Dallas Stars.
That's so
he got
good.
A contract this past week and went crazy on social media, obviously, because his name is Matt Murray and he's a goalie in the NHL.
Do you know anything about him? Like when he was drafted, like his stats?
I quickly tried to pull up like where this guy came from. It looks like he was on an amateur tryout with Texas last year, going 5-1-0 with a .947 save percentage.
Damn.
He played 5 seasons with the University of Massachusetts. I can't pronounce that word, but and put up some good numbers there. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was just pretty cool to see that making its waves. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I was kind of thinking you were going to take this, but I'm going to go with Erik Karlsson. First hat trick. I think he deserves it. It feels kind of shitty not going with Tage Thompson. We'll just say that Jack chose Tage Thompson. But yeah, Erik Karlsson's my pick. Favorite player growing up. I was going through my old hockey cards and I had like 6 autographed cards of his. Yeah. So I was like reminiscing about him the other day and then seeing him put up a hat trick last night, completely out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Just having a sick season. Back to his Norris days with San Jose. It's Ottawa.
Okay, buddy.
Norris days of San Jose. Who am I? Yeah. No, it's just awesome to see, and I really hope that he gets traded to a contender. I want to see that guy back in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So that is our second edition of the ProAm Player of the Week. Keep an eye out. We might be introducing a second episode of the week on weekends. Still TBD on that with time frames and stuff, but things are happening with the Professional Amateurs podcast, and we will catch you next week.
Hit the intro.